In this video, I will show you how to configure and manage multiple Netgear ProAV switches in a network using the Engage software. I will configure a total of 3 switches so that they have the same basic settings. I have previously made a video on how to do the initial configuration of Engage and have already added a router as the first device. So as a second device, let's add the 48 port switch here, 40 gigabit copper interfaces and 8 fiber gigabit interfaces. So I'll just press the onboard button, and since this is a factory resetted device, I can use the use device default password since there is no password. If I had a switch that I wanted to add that already has some configuration, I would add the device password here. Or if it's a device with a controller site password that has been set for this site in Engage, I would use this option. But now it's a device that has been factory reset, so I'll add it. It will now onboard the device into Engage, and if it didn't have the last or the latest firmware, it would have been updated and rebooted. I can then name the device, for example, core switch, and press apply. If I now look in topology, I will see that I have my router, I have my switch, and the switch has 2 connections to something else. This is the core switch icon. If I want, I could move this to tell the Engage software that this is my core switch. It will then be moved here, and the switch will be moved to the top. I can under site neighbors see other devices connected to the device right now. This will be a longer list in a bit when we add more switches and more devices. I go to site settings, and here I see all the VLANs that has been added to this site. And if I want, I can create a new VLAN. I do that by create a new profile and choose a template. For example, I want to add a Dante network, and I press next and name it Dante network. Give it a number. This is a number between 1 and 4096 and has to be unique in this environment. I then choose a color, since all VLANs or profiles in Engage has to have a color that's unique to that VLAN. That's for identifying the ports in the graphic of the switch. And then I pick the blue color here. And next, if I have wireless devices, I can do some settings there, but now we configure switches, so we'll skip that. If I want, I can now add specific ports to this or other switches for this VLAN. For example, I'd like to have these 8 ports assigned to this VLAN, and I get a summary of all the switches that have configured with these VLANs here. So port 1 to 8 is added, and apply. If I go back to site settings now, I should see the new network, Dante network, with the audio Dante profile, VLAN 10. I'll add another one, create a new profile. I'll add one with Crestron here because I have some Crestron devices, and will show you how that looks in the overview of the switch. Go to next, name it Crestron network, add a VLAN ID and a color, and next. No Wi-Fi settings for this one either. And I'll add some other ports here. I don't have anything connected to these, but I'll just add them so that you see the vision, how it will look. So if I go to devices now, it says syncing. That means that something is still updating in this switch. And now it's online. So if I go into the switch by pressing the configure button here, I'll see that I have 8 blue network ports and 12 purple ones. And if I have a look at the profiles here, I will see that the profiles have been added. VLAN 1, 10 and 20. And there are 28 assigned ports, 8 and 12 ports. If I wanted, I could change this here now. So for example, I press the 3 dots here, press edit, and I can add another one. If I press number 1 here, that's been assigned to the Dante network, and press apply, that port will be reassigned to the new network. This is also where I can add a DHCP server for this network if I want. And then it's this specific switch that will be handling those requests. So now I'll add the other 2 switches here. I'll add this one. It's a default password. I press the multiple button, and I'll also add this one, meaning I'll add both with the same credentials and press apply. It says success 2, and I see that one of them has something firmware wise that needed to be done, and that's a lower firmware than the others, and they have been resynced. So if I go into the devices here now, I will see under profiles that the profiles have already been added. Now I have some Crestron devices on this, on port 1, 2, 3, 8 and 9. So I'm going to edit those and add these. So if I press once on these network ports, they will be added as untagged network ports. If I press twice, they will be a trunk port, meaning I can add multiple VLANs in the same port and they will be trunked. One can still be access port and the rest will be trunk ports. And if I press again, it will go back to no change and access port and trunk port, and apply. And we see they go purple, and also there is a small Crestron logo, meaning there is something Crestron connected to this port right now. If I were to add port 42 here and apply, I will see that that one does not have a Crestron logo, and that's because there is nothing from Crestron connected to that one. And if I want to add Dante audio network to the rest, I just add those ports there. If I now go back to, okay, so I go into this switch then, configure, and here is a feature that's nice if you have a lot of ports that need to be untagged in the same switch. So if I press here, edit, and I press untag all, it will put all of them into untagged. And now I can, for example, if this were to be a trunk port for some reason, could press that one and press save or apply. If I want, I can press this small box here and show a legend of what does the different symbols mean in a moment these will change to Crestron symbols again. Yep. There they are. So this thing with the profiles are what makes Netgear a bit special. They started adding profiles for different manufacturers. For example, we added Audio Dante here for one of our networks, and we added Crestron Digital Media AV network for the other one. That's the one that's suitable for NVX, NAX, Crestron's cameras, and other Crestron devices. Meaning Crestron has created this profile based on their needs. Before that came around, we used the video, for example, the video profile here, and we can see that there are a lot more manufacturers with the same profile, and including the Crestron NVX here, but also other product lines for that fits the same profile. So quite a lot of different profiles that you can choose from, and even non-AV related ones like here for Lightning and ArtNet and other profiles. Other things that can be good to see here is, for example, the topology now. It will show our core switch and the two switches I added, and also the devices connected to those. If there are more devices, this will turn into a number instead, so we don't have hundreds of lines making this messy. And under site neighbors, we would see all the devices connected to this Engage installation. If I want, I could filter for example, just the devices connected to this switch and apply, and then I see those devices. Under site settings, we have the same thing as before. The profiles, the VLANs, we have the DHCP server. We can see which switch is currently the querier. Wireless settings, of course, MDNS again. And under network monitoring, there is a nice feature to making helping us with the logs for the different switches. So we can see here the latest log row, and we can also press this icon here to see the log for that switch. Under controller management, we can add more sites. So we have, for example, a demo 2 password, and next, choose the same network and apply. So if we do this, we see we have two sites now, demo and demo 2. We can now switch between the two, demo 2, apply, and that doesn't have any devices in it, and we can go back to the demo 1, and that's where we have our devices. So this can be handy if you have a customer site, for example, or multiple customer sites, and you just add them to a new site and can switch between them depending on where you are right now. And then, of course, never forget to save. And here it said it saved 3 switches. So that's all I wanted to show you in this video. I hope you found it informative and useful.